Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, welcome to this train wreck of a vlog with a dear friend, an old friend I've known for about 10 years, a savant of rock and roll music, a savant of music in general. He also has a vlog way more popular than mine. He at some point had his own radio show on the local radio station here. And yeah, he knows fucking way more, and you can't swear in this, by the way.
I can't, or I can?
You can if you want.
I can.
I just did.
Holy shit.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Adeno, a.k.a. LeBrain. Da-da-da-da.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming over in my apartment in Waterloo, Ontario.
Thanks for buying me this Coke.
I may have a surprise for you later.
That can go two ways.
The promise of cheese curds, I believe.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm just going to stop you real quick. There's a place called Pine River Cheese that used to be up near Kincardine. They closed last year. It was my source for curds. So,
my source for curds?
Thank you. Is Quebec?
It's Farm Boy in Cambridge.
Ah.
And it's fresh stuff from Saint Albert, Ottawa.
I've been there.
The squeaky stuff.
Look forward to it.
So, thanks for coming. I'm going to ask you some really geeky questions this evening.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first one, but I have confidence in your ability to answer this, sir. Question number one.
Yeah.
Why doesn't McDonald's sell hot dogs?
Well, there's actually two answers to that question in a way.
Okay.
McDonald's, the guy who founded the franchising, Ray Kroc, he refused to sell hot dogs at McDonald's, but some locations tried it as a limited edition. Well, it ended up being limited edition. I'm sure that they wanted it to be more successful, but they did try marketing hot dogs. I'm not sure if it was in the 50s or 60s, but they did sell hot dogs briefly. Nobody wanted the McHot dog, and I don't think there's ever been a revival. But
not that I heard of either. But you're right. They did very in select stores. Yes.
Yeah. But it's a weird thought, eh? It's a weird thought to go to a McDonald's and order a hot dog.
Right. There's been I've asked this question to 20 different people on this. Not this show, because this is going to be the Geek vlog with very special geeky friends like you, Todd, and others. I had a friend that worked there, and in the previous vlog he said that when he worked there, they used to get these weird, like these sheets that they would lay on top of the cash register thing, that the press button. At some point they were even considered selling beer because they had a beer button. That never went anywhere because they would need to be licensed, but
McBeer.
Licensed
McDonald's. I guess, I bet you such a thing does exist somewhere.
Coffee-wise, do you like McDonald's coffee? Do you like
I don't mind
Tim Hortons coffee?
I'll drink it. I'm an Nespresso guy now.
Oh, fancy.
Yes, that is what COVID has done.
Fancy.
It kind of... excuse me. COVID kind of inspired me to spend too much money on things online, and I decided to buy a Nespresso machine back in March when this first started, and I've been hooked on Nespresso since March.
Like a Keurig,
and we're in July now.
The disc.
Sorry?
Like a Keurig, or like the other one with the disc?
It's similar to the Tassimo in a way because it has the barcodes.
Okay.
But it's frothy, and it's my God, they have so many different varieties. So many.
Yummy.
But I'll drink a McCafe if it's offered to me, sure.
If needs be.
You're not offering me one because you've already offered me a delightful Coke.
A Coca-Cola. You and I we're Coca-Cola buddies at Sausage Fest every year.
But as we know, some person thinks it's too soupy.
Well, let's leave his name and him out of this right now, because tonight, sir, this is all about you.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, LeBrain.
Yeah.
What is the best Wi-Fi name you've ever seen in public?
Okay, I haven't seen this one myself, but I keep seeing a meme that says Wi-Fi testing zone, 5G testing zone. And it's supposed to like scare all the conspiracy guys in your neighborhood and your building, which I think that's brilliant. I've never seen it. I personally changed my Wi-Fi to Paul Stanley. at one point because I wanted people to think that somebody from Kiss lived here.
How do you feel about Ace Frehley?
Well, he just announced a new album today. Origins.
What?
Yeah, it's a covers album. This is called Origins Volume 2, and he just released the first single today.
So see, this is what I mean, folks. This guy knows everything about everything as far as music. Not in this podcast or vlog, but in the next one, what I'll do is I'll set up all the cameras and we'll do live stream, and then I will try to stump him because the radio show I was talking about that he did years ago was actually called Stump LeBrain.
It's true.
The professor savant of rock and roll goddamn music. So I would not, well, I don't know when, but very soon, shortly, hopefully before Sausage Fest, after Sausage Fest, we will try to stump LeBrain if we can. That'd be wonderful.
I do have audio recordings of that entire week, but I'm sure I can't use them.
There might be some legal technicalities in there. Yes. Michael Adeno, what is the most ridiculous fact you know? Useless, ridiculous fact you know.
The fact that McDonald's used to sell hot dogs? No, I don't know. That's a tough question. I need to think about that a minute.
With the magic of editing, I can put a timer.
I might just think this aloud as if we're on like Wheel of Fortune, Certainly, I know a lot about 80s toys like the Transformers that I don't need to know. Nobody needs to know. I guess some of the most obscure facts that I know would probably be one of these dumb toy things that I know.
Well, enlighten us.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. Transformers.
Yes.
And Micronauts.
Okay.
Basically used to be the same toy line. If you can picture old school Transformers like Megatron, the gun, or Soundwave, the cassette deck.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's the cassette deck? That was Soundwave.
Autobots inferior, Decepticons superior. Those were designed to be life-sized items, like tape decks and whatnot. And then they turn into little robots that would live on your desk, right? That was the most...
Right.
I'm sorry. I keep ruining your audio.
That's fine.
I keep ruining your audio. They were supposed to be life-sized objects that would, could walk around on your desktop. And that came from the Micronauts line. Microman is what it was called in Japan. And Transformers was actually a combination of several toy lines. Microman was one of them. And I've forgotten the name of the other one, but the other one consisted of like the planes and the cars, which were supposed to look more like die-cast collectible high-end toys.
Now, did they ever make Soundwave life-size cassette? Because I remember a friend of mine had the small one that actually was in the Mega Blaster thing.
It's actually a micro cassette. If you remember micro cassettes, the ones that people used to use for taping memos.
It's a micro cassette, but did they ever make?
No, but so a few third-party companies. Third-party is basically unlicensed transforming robots
from Japan, more than likely
China, and they don't have official names. They use names like Sound Killer or Wave Man or whatever, and they can't use official Autobot logos or whatever. Those companies have started to make life-size cassettes, and I believe a tape deck Transformer would be in the same line. I don't know if that's come out yet or not, but they are actually making now the life-size actual cassette tape sized. Because even though it was a micro tape in the original toy line, we all assumed that it represented a cassette tape.
Correct.
An actual cassette tape like you would listen to in your Walkman. So yeah, there's a stupid answer. The thing is that's not even that obscure a fact.
Sir, there is no stupid answers.
There's a lot of Transformers
stupid questions here, not answers.
There's a lot of toy fans out there that are going to say that's common knowledge, man. And certainly if you've seen that Netflix series, The Toys That Made Us, I guess you'd know that too.
I need to revisit that show, actually.
It was really good. I didn't watch some of them, but I watched all the ones that were nostalgic for me.
Take a sip of that Coca-Cola, because the next question will more than likely spark a big feud amongst viewers.
Oh, good.
Pike, Kirk, Picard, Cisco, or Janeway? Discovery's done in there. Sorry, dorks.
Well, Discovery doesn't have a proper captain. Gabriel Lorca doesn't count because he was actually... It turns out that he was the villain
Thank you.
But Pike would count perhaps as a Discovery. I mean, he's had more hours on Discovery than anywhere else.
But Pike was the pilot episode of the original series. So.
Yes, but one could argue that he represents Discovery just as much, or maybe even more, considering the number of hours.
In retrospect, he might have been a few more. I think he was in the original series more than one episode.
Technically, if you include the Menagerie and the Cage.
So that'd be 2 episodes.
Yeah. You see how I've turned this around, folks? Now I'm asking him the questions and he's answering them. And yeah. If I had to pick
he's
one.
He's a fucking Jedi mind trick on me all the time. He does that.
Yeah.
He tricks me.
But I'm going to answer his question. I like almost all of those captains. There's a couple I don't like, which I will leave out because I don't want to get flamed in the comments. I got to go with Picard because Picard, even though he's not the heroic action man that I wanted to be when I was a kid, which was Captain Kirk, basically,
yeah.
I admire Picard's wisdom, his compassion, and his willingness to see the point of view of others.
Here's a useless fact for you, sir. He just turned 80 a couple days ago.
My God, and they're doing a second season of Picard.
Patrick Stewart, it just turned 80 years old.
Sir Patrick.
Correct. Yeah. See what it does? This is why I cannot hang out with this guy every week, because I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, I would. See, this is why I wasn't popular.
God bless your heart.
This is why I was not popular in school. I can distinctly remember grade 6. We were taking Antarctic exploration for the first time, which I was an expert in. And the teacher started talking about these different explorers, and she couldn't pronounce their names. So I'd be like, it's Roald Amundsen. It's pronounced Sir Ernest Shackleton. And, you know, so I was an outcast in school, and now you're seeing fully...
I bet even the teachers hated you.
Probably. I'm sure that the commenters are hating me already.
There's another logic-like question for you. Toilet paper roll, over or under?
I'm an over guy.
You're an over guy?
Yeah,
God
I don't want to
bless
have
your
to.
heart.
I don't want to have to reach further.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No. Why would I add inches to what I have to reach? No. I don't even think that should be a question. I think it's over, and that's all there is to it.
Well, just for all you people watching out there, if you're still watching this, good job. Get a life.
To quote William Shatner.
The patent for the toilet paper roll is over, not under.
There's a patent?
Apparently.
You know more useless facts than I do.
Unless somebody just fabricated it, but I enjoyed it. Most people say over, but when you go, like if I go to someone's house and it's under, I'll flip it around and not say anything. And then after I do this, I will go to their cupboards and then remove all the labels from their cans just to be a jerk because they had the toilet paper under. That's me. So what you need to learn from this is don't invite me over, because I will come, admire your toilet paper roll, inspect it, and then if you fail, you will fail to see what's in your cans because I will remove the labels on you.
Is that flour? Is that sugar? I don't know.
You never know.
You never know now.
You never know. In one sentence, how would you sum up the internet? The World Wide Web.
One sentence?
Yes. It could be even one word.
No, it requires a
other
sentence.
Than porn or Transformers.
The best and worst thing that's ever happened to humanity.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument for both of those things.
Unless you live in China, because they're still very heavily filtered.
Right. They have their own version.
Our internet is a lot different than theirs.
Yeah. They have their own Twitter called Weibo, I think it's called, or something like that. But
it's one company managing the whole country, basically.
Well, yeah, everything's government controlled. But I do believe that with the internet, we have access to more knowledge than you and I ever had access to when we were in school.
More fake news, as Trump would say.
And there's more of that, too, because anybody can... I can go on my site right now and I can write a story about a band.
What is your site, by the way? What is it called?
MikeLadano.com. LADANO. MikeLadano.com.
And folks, it's time well wasted.
Yeah.
Please check him out. He's as deviant as me, just more polite than I am.
But yeah, I could start a fake news story tomorrow if I wanted to, which I don't.
Let's
because
do that.
It would destroy my credibility.
But let's have fun. Well,
do you want to start one right here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but Gene Simmons was replaced by a lookalike in 1987.
I thought it was Paul McCartney.
That's fake. I mean, everybody knows I am the walrus. The walrus is Paul. You know, that's all bullcrap. No. That's old news, man. No, Gene Simmons. Did you notice how his hair changed in the mid-'80s?
It was, terrible before and still terrible.
The most difficult thing to do when trying to copy another person is to copy their hair.
Because it's good.
There's the story,
to be
folks.
Me. I'm sorry by saying this, LeBrain. Gene Simmons is one of my least favorite people on this planet. Person on this planet. He is a horrible, horrible, self-centered asshat. And that TV show pretty much made him look that way. Great business guy. Mm-hmm. Just one big...
I can't say I particularly like Gene Simmons. I don't know if you have to like somebody to be a fan of them. I don't think you do. I really don't think you do.
He's a decent bass player, but I mean, come on. We have Geddy Lee here in Canada. Why should we care about...
Gene's never been primarily a bass player. He's always been more of the character, and the bass is just his way to be a person that's playing in a band on stage. It's all about the actual demon character. That's what it is. It's not music, but
he does have an extra long tongue, which I'm sure is very appealing to the opposite sex.
We'd have to ask Shannon Tweed if you ever get her on the show. She's Canadian.
Shannon Tweed, if you're watching this, I have poutine here for you, and I would love for you to answer that question.
Good poutine. I do like Shannon Tweed. I think she's fantastic. I think she's
I have nothing bad
incredibly
to say.
smart. Yeah.
How about this? Gates, Jobs, Zuckerberg, Musk. Who's the better visionary in your
Jobs?
Humble opinion? Jobs, really?
I'm going to say Jobs because also he's the only one who's dead and can't let us down. I think Elon has let us down a couple of times. I like Elon. Don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against any of these people. But Elon's let us down a couple of times, you know. That truck that he unveiled last year was kind of...
The transport truck looks cool.
Didn't the window break when he tried to roll it down?
That was the SUV, I think.
That was the SUV?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Elon, but I think he's distracted right now. I think he's very distracted. I think he's a very mercurial individual. I think he's a genius. And I thought he was great on Rick and Morty as Elon Tusk. But I don't know. Jobs changed a lot, man. Jobs changed a lot. You said Bill Gates. He obviously changed a lot, too. I mean, everybody uses Windows, except for the people who use the stuff that Jobs built.
Yep.
And who else did you say in there?
Zuckerberg.
Fuck that guy. All he did was
still
something that MySpace was already doing.
Yep.
Nobody talks about Tom from MySpace anymore. What happened to Tom from MySpace?
I love how that guy was friend with everybody.
He was everybody's first friend.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
One other thing, like now that we're going down, like reminiscing the old school stuff with Tom from MySpace. Remember the WinAmp player, the music player? Every time you launch it, it would say, WinAmp, it really kicks the llama's ass. I love that.
I don't remember that part.
Oh, yeah.
Funny you should mention this. I saw a meme about WinAmp today, and I was reading a conversation between a friend of mine and another guy, and they were talking about how much they still like WinAmp.
They are still around.
Apparently. I learned that today.
Oh, yeah.
What was the other one? There was another one that I used to use. There was WinAmp, and then there was...
Real Player.
No, it wasn't that one. I can't remember. But I started getting into downloading around the year 2001-ish.
Okay.
2001. A girlfriend of mine showed me WinAmp. And she's like, my neighbor wanted me to download a song. Okay, so she had to go onto her WinAmp and download a song. This is my first time seeing WinAmp. The song that her neighbor wanted to download.
What was it?
Who let the dogs out?
Oh, shut up. Oh,
so
my God.
we're watching it download and it's going like this because it's so slow because it's the year 2000, 2001. It's going like this.
Dot up.
And then she played the track. And I have to say that when the verses to the song came on, it was the first time I ever heard them in my life. I'd only ever heard that "Who let the dogs out" part. I never heard how any of the rest of the song goes. So that's my WinAmp memory. That's my strongest WinAmp memory. Then I downloaded it and started downloading. Sorry.
I'm sorry you had that experience.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I appreciate that. But when I downloaded WinAmp, the very first thing I started downloading were unreleased Guns N' Roses tunes from Chinese Democracy. And I downloaded one called The Blues.
How long did it take for them to record that album and launch it?
Okay, so the last recording they did with Slash was 1994. It was it was Sympathy for the Devil. It was a remake of Sympathy for the Devil. And in a way, that is sort of the first song that had anything to do with Chinese Democracy, because on that track, Axl Rose fired Gilby Clarke from the band and hired a guy named Paul Huge. His real name's Paul Tobias, but he's credited on the Guns albums as Paul Huge. Slash was not consulted when Axl hired Paul. Paul was a personal friend of Axl's, and he brought him in because he knew that he could write songs with him. Slash was not impressed that he was brought in without his consultation, overdubbed onto Sympathy for the Devil without Slash's consultation, and apparently Slash also hated the guy's guts. This led to Slash's departure in 96-ish. Duff McKagan left around 97, and I believe Matt Sorum was fired shortly thereafter. So Sympathy for the Devil is really the transition, 1994. And then they put out Chinese Democracy in, I believe, 2008. So that's a 14-year gap.
14 years.
And Axl went through numerous band members in that time span, and I believe pretty much all of them appear on Chinese Democracy in some way. All but DJ Ashba, I believe, who was the last guy to join.
As much as, people, Axl Rose has a very bad rap because he has a tendency to get mad or storm off the stage.
Yes. He's a ginger. Send me the hate, YouTube. Send me the hate.
I got first-hand experience of this in 1993 when they played with Metallica, when James got the fireworks in his face in Montreal.
Yeah, the riot.
I may have been on some type of psychedelic drug back then because I was young and didn't have to deal with anxiety yet. Anyways, we waited about an hour and a half for Axl Rose to come and say, "Fuck you, Montreal." And then next thing I know, people are ripping seats off and throwing it on stage.
I remember the news footage. That place was like gutted.
Oh, dude, it was a riot. I was in a riot in '99 in Woodstock. Actually, I left Woodstock in '99 in the middle of the beginning of the riot, so it wasn't crazy.
I remember that from the news too. It happened during the Chili Peppers set?
Yeah, at the end, the minute they were done. And the main reason of this is the rumor going around was the Rolling Stones were going to close the show. It was going to be it was this big surprise. And then next thing you know, it's like the Red Hot Chili Pepper, and you could tell they did not want to be there. It was a paycheck to them. So yeah, and we had no water. You couldn't bring food or drinks in, so people just went ape shit. Anyways, wow.
What was the question?
We went to Musk, to Zuckerberg, to Jobs, Gates.
So somehow to Axl Rose.
Axl Rose. But yeah, Axl Rose actually...
WinAmp.
WinAmp and then Axl Rose. So Axl Rose has him and Mike Patton for Faint No More and other bands have the record for as far as octaves. How many octaves they can sing. Great singer, great songwriter. It's just the guy just needs to... I think he's better now.
I agree. And I think that a lot of this changed when Angus Young hooked up with him for AC/DC. Because Angus Young and AC/DC do not put up with BS. They don't. Period.
No.
And I think that... And Axl highly respects those guys. I mean... I'm sure there's a lot of people in rock...
Could you not?
Right. But Axl really respects those guys. And I think there's a lot of people in rock that could walk up to Axl Rose and say, you should be a little bit more like this or more like that. And Axl would tell him to fuck off. If Angus said it, Axl would probably be like, thank you very much for that advice.
Here's another Spotlight Logic question for you. In a fight,
I love these questions.
Freddy versus Jason versus Chuck Norris, who wins?
Chuck Norris.
Fucking right. LeBrain, you nailed it.
I mean, knives can't hurt Chuck Norris.
He's Chuck Norris.
So that's Freddy taken care of. What's Jason got? He's got the machete. That's just a big knife. So, no, that can't hurt Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is fucking... I mean, those guys are slow. And Freddy Krueger only has powers in your dreams, right?
Correct.
Chuck Norris doesn't dream, man. Chuck Norris doesn't dream. So, fucking Freddy, nothing. Nothing. And Jason's too slow, man. He's a dead guy. He's too slow. Chuck fucking Norris.
Ladies and gents, madams and messieurs, you've heard it from the horse's mouth, Mr. LeBrain. Brilliant.
You can give me a hard question now.
Favorite TV show of all time? Can there be one? If you are stuck watching a TV series until the end of your existence, what show?
You already know the answer to this one.
Surprise me.
Do you want to guess?
I see your Jedi mind trick will not work on me right now.
Okay, so he's not letting me reverse the questions.
No.
Original series Star Trek.
A singing answer, folks.
Yeah.
A singing answer. Why?
Well, the thing is, there's only 3 seasons, so if you ask me to watch it until the end of time, I'm limited in my number of episodes compared to Next Generation, but...
Or DS9.
Or DS9. Yeah, those 2 shows went to 7 seasons, so did Voyager. The original Trek only lasted 3, but, I mean, I grew up on that show. I was actually thinking of Star Trek on my way here, because I know you're obviously a fan. And I was kind of hoping I'd have the opportunity to talk about it on my way here.
There we are.
And one of the things I wanted to say was Star Trek is responsible for me being into science fiction and geek stuff in the first place. It's all because sitting in my basement at home with my dad, we watched Star Trek. And I can still remember the episode... there's the stupid single-celled organisms that fly around. And,
oh, my goodness.
And the only way that Spock could undo the infection was with bright light.
That was painful, by the way. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Very painful.
There's one of my favorite episodes. It's called Operation Annihilate. And it's one of my favorite episodes because it's one of the ones that I remember very, very strongly. My dad and I watching it when we were kids. And my dad asking me, what does the sun have? Because they knew that it was the sun that could kill these things, but it wasn't heat. What does the sun have that isn't heat that could kill these things? And I said, brightness. And my dad kind of like snapped his fingers and he's like, well, let's watch. And of course it was the light that killed the things. And my dad's like, you got it. So it's one of my strongest memories of a kid. And the show makes me feel good. There's a lot of shows that make me feel good, but none that are as truly special to me personally as Star Trek.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Speaking of dad memories and TV shows and everything, Mr. LeBrain, what would be, in your humble opinion, the best life lesson you've learned? We're going to wrap up with this last question.
I haven't learned it yet. That's an honest answer.
That's a brilliant answer.
It's an honest answer, too.
Brilliant.
Man, this could get deep, and it could get emotional.
Well, we're only at 30 minutes here. We're doing pretty good at time.
Well, as I stare at the tip of this microphone, as I focus myself, I've had so many life lessons. And I think anybody who went to university at one point in their life thinks that they know everything. I don't know if you were like that or if you know people that were like that.
We were all like that.
I was like that. I had friends like that. I thought I knew everything.
And people are still like that. Some of our friends are still like that. Elitist.
Yeah. But because I was in school and everything, I thought that I could really back it up. And it turns out, some of the things that you thought you knew back then, they might be true in an academic sense, but they're not true in a life sense.
Right.
And a lot of the things I used to believe as a kid, I don't believe anymore. I used to, like going back to Star Trek, I used to believe in an optimistic future. I truly, truly, in my heart, felt like humanity would eventually one day unite and overcome starvation,
no money,
poverty, disease, with technology and wisdom. And
not to be a negative nanny here, but I understand what you're saying.
I used to believe those things, man. That's a hard life lesson to learn, that just because humanity has the potential to be something doesn't mean it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like every species is designed to survive. That's evolution. Evolution is survival of the fittest, right? So every living creature on this earth has evolved to survive.
Yeah.
And I thought that humanity, being the top of the food chain, having got ourselves to the moon, would see that in order to survive, we can't be divided.
Yep.
And I thought that our survival instincts would unite us, and it hasn't happened.
Well said.
And I don't know, man. I guess that is the hardest life lesson to learn, that I don't want to be too pessimistic. I really don't want to be too pessimistic.
No, but you're being realistic. So
I think we're fucked, man. I think we're fucked. I also felt optimistic at one other time in my life, which was right after 9/11. Because as bad as that tragedy was, it united people in a serious way that I'd never seen before in my life. Everybody was 100% united behind supporting the United States in that disaster. And obviously things turned out quite differently than we thought it would. But for that little bit after 9/11, I thought, this is going to bring the world together stronger and more united than before. And fuck, was I wrong.
If only.
It made things... We live in a different world. There's a pre-9/11 world and there's a post-9/11 world, and I'm also convinced that there's a pre-COVID world and a post-COVID world, and we're not going to know what that looks like yet, but it ain't going to be the same as the world that we knew before.
So it kind of backfired on the Americans, but the French had this Charlie magazine.
Yeah, Charlie Hebdo.
And that worked, actually. That brought people a lot closer in France together, reunited than what happened at 9/11 in New York City.
Yeah.
Let's end on a softer note than this.
Yeah, ask another question because I don't want to be a bummer.
One last question.
Okay.
And if you're still watching this, get a life.
Yeah,
people.
man. Come on.
Get a life. Come on.
It's only a TV show.
Optimus Prime or Megatron?
Oh, man.
Use your grown-up words. Think out loud. Come on.
Optimus Prime has made some really awful mistakes in the past.
I think they're
with the best intentions, right? With the best intentions, but it usually ends up with him dead. And Megatron the victor. In the original Marvel comic written by Bob Budiansky, in issue number 24, the Autobots and the Decepticons were battling over it was called a hydrothermocline, and it was an energy device.
I skipped that question, sorry. DC or Marvel?
Well, fuck this. I want to fucking answer my question.
Answer, but...
Marvel, there's no hands down. I mean, I don't even like DC. Sorry. I don't like DC.
Hate mail to Adeno at gmail.com.
Yeah. I do not like Batman, Superman. Sorry. Well, I mean, I like Christopher Reeve. I like Michael Keaton. But I don't give a crap about the DC universe. I really don't. Really don't. Sorry. Marvel all the way. 100%. Final answer, Regis.
Again, send hate mail to Adeno, I don't care, at gmail.com. Well, there you go, folks. You have it. There you have it. It's 38 minutes and 36 seconds into this train wreck of a vlog.
Was it ever?
take you to my extra special guest in Waterloo, Ontario, Mr. Michael Adeno.
Thank you.
Make sure to check out his website because what we talked about is a scratch of things I'm sure you could probably find at some point on his page.
Yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, there you go. Any last words there, Mr. Ladano?
Yeah, one. Sorry, it's not a word, but the McLobster.
What?
The McLobster.
The McLobster. What about it?
Why don't they bring that back? We talked about McHot Dogs. I get why they don't bring that back. What's wrong with McLobster?
Lobster is very expensive.
I believe that it was a successful dish. I've lost him, folks. I've completely lost him.
I don't know. How do you define success, though? Because if it was a success for the McDonald Corporation, it would still be on the menu.
Well, it is on the menu out east. If you go to Maine, if you go to Nova Scotia.
Because it's seasonal. Hot dog is all year long. Sorry to poop on your parade there.
Okay, then I'm just going to say McDonald's. It's been a couple of years since you brought back the McLobster. I'd really, really appreciate it. I'm a big fan, and if you bring back the McLobster in Ontario, I promise I will eat it twice a week. Twice a week.
Why just make it yourself?
I want to go to McDonald's and order it.
But
I want to go through the drive-thru and order it.
Ladies and gents, LeBrain, lazy Michael LeBrain, Ladano.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Appreciate it.
Tata. God bless. Don't lick rocks on the sidewalk. Do not eat gum from the sidewalk. Actually, just stay away from the goddamn sidewalk. Goodbye.
Feliz Navidad.
Live long and prosper.
That was great.
Well done, sir. Well done. Thanks for being quiet. I appreciate it.
Never mess with an engineer and that's working.
If only everybody understood that.
Yeah.